Okay, we're in Romans the 8th chapter, the 5th verse. It says, "For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the spirit, the things of the spirit." You see? That's why we have to look at the Most High as a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him how? In spirit and in truth. You see, with the Holy Spirit, the spirit of the Most High, and with the truth, which is the laws of the Most High. What does it say next? "For to be carnally minded is death." You see? But to be spiritually minded is life and peace. Because you're going to be doing what you're supposed to do so that you'll please the Most High. To be spiritual minded and to have this peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High. So the carnal mind, some of you that have a problem with this truth, you at war with the Most High. That's what it's saying. Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High. For it is not subject to the law of the Most High. That's why a lot of you preachers are carnal minded. I don't care if you drop whatever scripture that you want to drop at all. You hear what it said? Because the carnal mind is enmity against the Most High. You against the Most High. You at war with the Most High. Listen to what it says. "For it is not subject to the law of the Most High, neither indeed can be." Because of all the wickedness that you're doing. Telling people it's all right. Don't you know you got to pay for that? You got to pay for that. Mashiach said he didn't come to destroy the law or the prophets. That's all he had to go by. Was the Old Testament, the law of Moses and the prophets. That's all he had to go by, and the Apocrypha. But y'all took 14 books out of the Bible. So then, they that are in the flesh cannot please the Most High. You can't please the Most High. "But ye are not in the flesh, but in the spirit. If so be that the spirit of the Most High dwell in you." So I told you the spirit of the Most High. That's being in the spirit. You can't have the spirit of the Most High in you and you're not doing what he say do. That don't make no sense. "If so be that the spirit of the Most High dwell in you, now if any man have not the spirit of Mashiach, he is none of his. And if Mashiach be in you, the body is dead because of sin. But the spirit is life because of righteousness." And we know that righteousness, we defined it in Deuteronomy 6:25. It's keeping of the Most High's commandments. "But if the spirit of him that raised up a Mashiach Yahushua, who is the Most High, if the spirit of the Most High is in you, from the dead dwell in you, he that raised up a Mashiach from the dead shall also quicken your mortal bodies by his spirit that dwelleth in you." Well, he said, hey, we're going to make our abode in you. Keep the commandments. Say, if you love me, keep my commandments. Mashiach Shai told you that in St. John 14:15. Verse 4 is very important. That the righteousness of the law, can't get no clearer than that. The righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the spirit. You see? That's why you look at the things that he's saying pertaining to the flesh, then it can help you to change. So you can, do a self-examination of yourself and say, whoa, okay, well, I got to stop being as I've been taught. It's okay. It's not okay. That's why myself, I kept saying it's going to be gnashing. He said it's going to be gnashing of teeth. Look, Galatians 5. And let's start at verse 16. Say, this I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh, to be carnal-minded. For the flesh lusts against the spirit. So the flesh is lusting against the spirit of the Most High, the law of the Most High, and the spirit against the flesh. You see? They're battling each other. That's why you got to allow the spirit to win over the flesh. Therefore, you can be changed. And these are contrary to one to another. You hear that? They're contrary one to another, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. But if ye be led of the Spirit, ye are not under the law. You led of the Spirit, you ain't got to be concerned about repenting and be concerned about, before we had animal sacrifices, the animal sacrifice was done away with, so you ain't got to keep going to a Mashiach Yahushua, asking them to forgive you for something you're doing wrong, because you know what's right. That's why he told you, look, hold that. Hebrews 10 and 26. That's what he said. He said, if we sin willfully, after that, we have received the knowledge of the truth, and it don't matter. If you say, I didn't know, but you ain't trying to know, so you still sinning willfully. Thinking, I don't want to hear that. Like people say, I want to hear the truth, so I'll be held accountable. No, you still going to be held accountable. You don't believe it? Amos 9, just because you don't know, don't mean you ain't going to be judged. Amos 9 and 10 say all the sinners, that's those that break the laws of the Most High. All you that say you don't want to know, so you're not going to be held accountable. And the Most High loves the sinner, but he hates the sin. Saying that, all the sinners of my people, that's the 12 tribes of Israel, of us, shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. You better ask somebody. You don't take a rocket science to figure this one out. Is this what y'all be saying? And y'all gonna have to pay in the end if you don't change. That's what this is all about, changing. To be a better person in the eyes of the Most High. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 6. Now see, this coincide with what y'all been taught in church. For the Most High hateth sinners and will repay vengeance unto the unrighteous, those that don't keep the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. Hear what it said? For the Most High hateth sinners. Y'all talking about he loved the sinner but hate the sin. For the Most High hateth sinners. He already just said, all the sinners of my people shall fall by the sword. He gonna kill them. For the Most High hateth sinners, he just said in Amos 9 and 10, he gonna kill them, and will repay vengeance unto the unrighteous, and keepeth them against the mighty day of their punishment. See, don't get it twisted. All the answers here in the word. Just a matter of you going to accept it or not. Going back to Hebrews 10 and 26, it says, for we sin willfully. After that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. Myself shall say, I'm not going to the Most High on your behalf. I'm not going to be the mediator between you and the Most High. But a certain fearful, you're going to be scared in this day, looking for of judgment and fiery indignation. He's going to bring that fire. He put the rainbow in the sky to remind himself that he's not going to flood the earth anymore. But he said, I'm going to melt some people. I'm going to melt you, he said. But a certain fearful, going to be scared in this day. You ain't scared of him now. You're going to know about the fear of the Most High when this go down. But a certain fearful, looking for of judgment. When that judgment come, he come to judge and make war. And fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversaries. You better understand. That adversaries, you're going to devour the enemies. Because you become the enemy of the Most High, whether you want to accept it or not. So going back to Galatians, if we can, the 5th chapter. And when it says, verse 18, but if you are led of the Spirit, you're keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, you are not under the law. Because if you know not to eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster, catfish, oysters, everything, to eat doo-doo, why I got to keep telling you don't eat those things I just named in the dietary law? Why I got to keep telling you don't hate your brother, don't, love your brother? You got some change that you make to know that Most High said, love thy neighbor as thyself. You start with self, you love yourself, you can love someone else. Most people can't love somebody really truly because they don't really love themselves. They ain't satisfied with themselves. That's why it said. But if you are led of the Spirit, you're keeping the laws of the Most High, you are not under the law. Not under the law. You ain't got to be going to a Mashiach all the time, repenting, asking the Most High, go there and ask the Most High to forgive me for this and doing that. No. That's why he said he ain't going to the Most High. You keep doing the same thing over and over again. It's about change. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, man sleeping with another man's woman, a woman that's married sleeping outside of her marriage with another man, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, all this other flesh. Wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envies, murderers. You say, look how long this list is. Envies, just like the world today. Murderers, drunkenness, revelings, and such like as of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. Right? So you're not going to the kingdom. You do any of those things, you're not going to the kingdom. Why, the last book of the Bible, Revelation 22 and 15, I'm telling you, you only got about what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more verses before the Bible's over. He told you before he left from speaking to us. He said what? Revelation 22:15. For without the kingdom are dogs. Dogs is a word that I looked up in the New English Bible Dictionary concerning the Gentiles' fair use. Because of their vileness, profaneness, it says, and a reference toward homosexuality. So without the kingdom are dogs. And David prophesied in Psalms 22:16, he said, for dogs have enclosed me. The assembly of the wicked have encamped about me. Paraphrase, they pierced my hands and my feet. And sorcerers, witches, those that's rolling in witchcraft. And that's how it tells you in Revelation 18:23. And the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee. Ain't no light of the candle gonna shine anymore in America. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. Ain't no more bridegroom and brides getting married. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth. Listen at this. That's why I'm here. For by thy sorceries, by thy witchcrafts, were all nations deceived. See? So they not going into the kingdom. Their name's not written in the book of life. For without, back to Revelation 22:15, for without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and murderers and idolaters and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. Going back to all of those things that you're seeing, that's the works of the flesh. Now, Galatians 5:22 says, but the fruit of the Spirit is love. We know love is defined in 2 John, the 6th verse. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment that ye have heard from the beginning. You should walk in it. Walk in the commandments of the Most High. That's the first thing it says. So, the fruit of the Spirit starts with keeping the commandments of the Most High. He said in 1 John 5:3, if you love me, keep my, no, excuse me, that was, for this is the love of the Most High, that we keep his commandments. His commandments are not grievous. So myself Shai said in St. John 14:15, if you love me, keep my commandments. So this is the fruits of the Spirit. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy. Remember what we read, the fear of the Most High brings joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. And they that are Mashiachim, Yam is masculine plural in the Hebrew, representing Christ, the Messiahs, the anointeds, have crucified the flesh with the effects of and lust. See? You got to get rid of that. That's how you become a new person, a new man, a new woman. Swear, that's how it works, y'all. You see? If we live in the Spirit, keeping the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, doing what he say do, his rules and regulations, let us also walk in the Spirit. You see, when the book is closed. Now you got to apply this in your life. Because a lot of people can learn it, they can live it, but to apply this in their life when the book is closed, now you're thinking about the Most High. You fear the Most High. You're keeping His commandments. You see, you're doing what He tells us to do. Let us not be desirous of vainglory. See, that's too much pride. That's why He said the world gonna be in great miseries because of great pride. You see? In the times we live in now. See, let us not be desirous of vainglory. Why you say you in hell, a condition called hell, Israel? Well, how you gonna be in hell, Israel, and want vainglory? Want to be somebody in hell? That's not cool, man. That's why He said, let us not be desirous of vainglory. Hamashiach Shai made Himself of no reputation. Because He would heal people and say, don't tell nobody. And He did more miracles than He put in all the books of the world. He said, don't tell nobody I did it. Let us not be desirous of vainglory, provoking one another, envying one another. See, that's another thing we deal with, envy. I don't know, nobody can envy anybody, man. I never really had no kind of spirit like that in my life, man. You should be happy for your brothers and sisters that's coming up or that's doing well. You know, that's where it should be. I digress. I'm gonna go into. I want to. It's kind of. I want to go into some scriptures pertaining to what's marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. I want to go a little bit more into it. I always, have brought it out, but I want to do that. Tune in.